Hello everyone and welcome to RaceRoom. And today we will be seeing if the AI is competitive or good in a sense on RaceRoom for those that don't like online racing and maybe would prefer to practice offline. And to show you if the AI are good or bad, I decided why not let you make the decision yourself by showing you a race. For this race I have the AI set to 95. And you can try different settings. I believe it goes all the way to 110 down to 80. Correct me if I'm wrong about that. Now heading into turn 1 at Suzuka here, we are in the GT4 cars, and it's the shorter version of this track. I believe it's the West version they call it, or maybe the East, I'm not fully sure. But you can pretty much take this circuit here flat out through most of the turns with this car. Very light braking here and there, but at most it's a third to second gear track. And I would just like to say, from my experience so far after playing a few times off camera, in my own opinion the AI are pretty good. You just have to find the right setting you like them on, and then you'll find it fun to actually play against them. Now as we come to the end of lap 1, and I did run a little bit wide there, and I do believe drafting does work in this game. I'm not sure how strong it is, but from what I've seen, bump drafting does work. Not sure about normal drafting though. Now coming into corner 1, we give the Porsche a light tap on the rear. Just got a little brake check. We're going to keep it in third for this corner. You can shift down to second, but you'll have to shift up at the end of the corner and you may lose some time, as we are running on the outside as the BMX, I believe that is called, or the X. I'm not fully sure the name, but so far that car seems to be very good in the corners but not so much on the straights. And you may have noticed when looking at the times, the AI are still really close together. There's not that much of a gap between the leaders and the mid-pack, but there is a slightly bigger gap between the front runners and the rear, as you may see sections of them fall off after a few laps here and there. Now as we come to the end of lap 2, we're going to try to settle into the slipstream that I hope is actually real in this game. And I do believe it is. From here we can kind of see how the car in front of me gained a little bit here and there. We're going to come into the inside of corner 1, just try to hold our line and not make any contact. We're going to use third gear to just help us pull out the corner as the Porsche on the outside runs wide. Just going to turn the car and try to keep it on the racing line here, and hopefully make up a few positions as I decide to put on a little bit more power exiting the last corner. And now we come to the tight S turn, as I like to call it, and you just want to keep it on the line. There aren't really that many overtaking places on this track that I would recommend. Of course you can always try overtaking on the inside or the outside of the S turns, but you will indeed lose time to the cars in front. And as the cars in front of me actually get an amazing exit on the final corner. And coming on to lap 4 here, apparently something happened with the car in front because they just don't have the top speed as me. Hard onto the brakes, shifting it back down into third. Unfortunately we do run a little bit wide, and the car behind me does make a move up the inside and he gets it done as I run a little bit wide onto the AstroTurf. We're going to think about sending a move up the inside of corner 2, but unfortunately we just don't have the pace for that yet. So decided to hang a little bit back, get back on the racing line, let everything warm up. Our tires are still brand new. We do have super low levels of fuel, just so we can make the car as light as possible. Now if we were in GT3 cars, maybe we could have had that move done. Now coming down to the final corner, shifting it down to second, getting on the gas, and then letting it roll through the exit of this corner, then back on the gas as soon as possible to get the best exit we can for this straight, as the car next to us just didn't get a good exit at all and has completely lost all pace throughout this front stretch. Now we're going to settle behind the Audi here. I'm going to brake just a little bit earlier than where we would, shifting it down to third to keep it from going into the back of the car in front. Now through corner 1 we do have a little bit of a look up the inside from the car behind, but they do not get the move done at all, as they just have a little bit of their nose on the inside, well the outside. And now we're just going to try to hold our line to the best of our abilities here, try not to lose any more positions as we are halfway into this race. And we do gain a little bit of time to the Audi in front of us, who seems to be getting blocked by the Porsche. As we come into the final corner, we're going to hold it as close to the car as we can in front, shift it down to second, use the gas as much as possible, block the car on the outside from getting around us, and we got on the power as early as we could. But unfortunately, I don't think that is enough to get into the slipstream of the cars in front. But fortunately, we did lose time to the car behind us, so we won't have to worry about him for a little bit. Now going into corner one for the 6th time today here, we're going to leave it in fourth just a little bit longer so we don't gain too much time and hit the back of the car in front of us. But they do get an amazing exit. Now our strategy here is to hope that our fuel saving strategy does help, as I only have 8 liters left in this car with about 4 laps left to go. And as this race goes on, I hope my pace will increase slightly. But we do have tire wear to worry about, so it won't be that amazing of an increase, but it will surely help us. And speaking of helping us, me coming off the racing line for the final corner did not help at all. I thought I had a little bit more momentum to send one up the inside into the final corner, but I didn't. But we do gain some time on the car in front of us with an amazing last corner exit. And we actually are going to pass, and hopefully we are in the slipstream of the Porsche in front of us as we still almost side by side going into corner one, shifting down to fourth, waiting a little bit longer, then third, just trying to make up as much time as possible as the Porsche in front of us gets an amazing exit. And I do believe the Audi is side by side with us. We break a little bit going into corner two, but unfortunately the Audi has it into corner three and he takes the position back. So at this point, my best bet was to just try to settle behind the Audi, get as close as possible, so that when we go onto the front stretch, I at least have some sort of slipstream to help me out here. And then that's exactly what we're doing. I'm trying to take a little bit of a cautious but close line here. Running a little bit off the track here, but the Porsche behind us is also gaining time on me. And it seems they're coming out of the final corner super slow in front of us. I do believe that the Porsche in front of this Audi is slowing him down quite a bit here. So for now we're just going to settle behind the Audi, but then we decide to go for a move up the inside into corner one. We're going to go into fourth gear early. There's a little bit of contact as he doesn't see me on the inside. Shifting down to third. He's still on our outside, I believe, and he has held his position there. And unfortunately there's not much we can do about that since he just had the better corner exit. And as we come into corner two, everyone's just perfectly lined up here. Not much overtaking we can do on shut to short circuit here. We're going to get as close as possible as he kind of brake checks us in front. And as I was extremely correct, as this Porsche in front of us may have damage and is slowing everyone up a lot. Now coming into the final corner, the cars behind us are slowly catching up and getting impatient, as we need to find a way to pass this Porsche in front of us, otherwise we will get overtaken. And unfortunately we do not get the best of exits on the last corner, and there's only about 2 more laps left to go here, and we have to make up as much time as possible. Maybe we can get a top 7 here, as I decide to send one up the inside, but unfortunately there just wasn't enough room. And I do admit that was my fault. That was a super late dive bomb, as the Porsche behind us is also trying to make the same move on me. And unfortunately, due to all this fighting, the front group has pulled away significantly from us. And so our best bet is either to try to pass this Audi in front of us and hopefully the Porsche and keep that place, as we get a little bit loose on the corner entry. And we do lose some time here, and now we have grass on the tires, so that is not going to help coming into this final corner. Now we're going to get a little bit early on the brake, shift it down to second, take a tighter line here. Hopefully get the grass off the tires before we come back into corner one here. As you can see, we ran super wide on the corner exit. And now we only have 1 lap left to make a move to get into the top 8, potentially, maybe even into 7th place. As the Audi goes slightly defensive, then changes his mind. We're going to redline it and then shift it down to 3rd super early, try to make up as much time as possible. And we did get the move done on the Audi, so we are now in 8th place here. But the Audi has not given up at all, as he's on our rear bumper as fast as he can. And we do gain a lot of time to the Porsche in front. Now I think what may have happened to this car in front of us is there may have been some turn 1 damage at the start of this race. Whatever it is, I'm not sure. As we get brake checked by the Porsche, you really don't need to brake for that corner at all. You can kind of just let the car roll in. But unfortunately, I don't think we can get the move done on this Porsche, as the person driving is playing super defensive here. I'm going to try to get a good corner exit here. and we somehow actually do coming to the edge of the track using as much of it as we can. But unfortunately, we have not had the pace to get past this course. And so that is a P8 after about 10 laps of Suzuka. Now, as I said at the start of this video, it's about the AI. In my personal opinion, I do think they are very good, very competitive if you know what you're doing. And they, in general, can be pretty fast anytime you want them to. Anyways, leave your thoughts and comments down below, and thank you for watching. Goodbye.